Hi everyone, I hope you're a good guy and welcome to a new video. Today, video to celebrate the 25k on my YouTube channel. I really want to thank you all for your support, for all of the comments, the likes, people who are supporting me by buying my templates, sample packs and credit bank. Thank you very much for all of that. I couldn't be doing that without you. And today I'm gonna answer your questions. So I put on the community tab a post where you could ask anything and I'm gonna answer all of your questions. So first question is, what are your main influencer when it comes to making music? I would say everything which is released on Paul Group or Soma Record or Mode or even Planet the Rhythm. I really kind of love these four labels. There is even more that I like, but I don't have any particular artist in mind. Maybe Lewis Fodsey. Next question, that type said, will you going to make Paul Group style techno? Yeah, probably in 2 live stream. I will probably make this kind of techno. Janak said, how do you tackle learning new things within music production without getting overwhelmed? So I guess you say that in point of view like if you're just starting, because when you just started you have to learn how to mix, to make music, sound design, everything. I think you can feel overwhelmed if you put a limit. Like if you say, for example, to yourself, okay, I need 2 years to make good music, then you will gonna put pressure on you and you're gonna feel like there is a lot to learn in the short amount of time. But if you doesn't put any time limit, like okay, I have 5-10 years to learn everything, then it's fine, because you won't feel overwhelmed and you just learn new thing one after the other. I would say, and don't worry that much if it takes time. It's gonna take time anyway, so just don't worry and just enjoy the process. Patrick Walter, who says some tips on dark melodies for high peak techno. So there was a couple of questions about that, how to write melody, and I'll probably make a video. There is no really tips on writing melody, like, because I can give you tips, but I can give you another example of a track which is completely the opposite of what I've just said. There is obviously some scales that work better than others, but yeah, I'll make probably a video about that. Stranger Thing will say, tips on tuning, pitching, sound for techno. Hopefully the answer is not just tuned by ears. Well, it is. You can use Spectrum and check on the Spectrum which frequency is the higher on your Spectrum, and usually this is like the root, the fundamental, and usually that's the pitch of your drum or percussion, and then after you can pitch it according to your track. So that's what I used to do that, but then after I guess you kind of train your ears and then you just do it by ears, I guess. Who is your favorite electronic music artist, techno artist, and musician in general, alive or dead? Thanks, you're great. By Ted. I guess my favorite electronic music artist, that might surprise you, but I would say Guy Borato. It's a Brazilian music producer. He released on Compact Record, and probably him because he's the one who kind of make me like electronic music and get into it. Him, I would say, with Paul Kalkbrenner as well. Both are these two who are like probably my favorite artists. Chris Meister say, it would be great to talk about gain compensation and your approach using this method in your tracks. So gain compensation, for those who doesn't know what it is, it's basically when you tweak a plugin, you'll probably add some gain, whatever effect you're doing, and most of the time louder doesn't always sound better. So basically gain compensation, it's matching the input and the output level. This way you have a truly true idea about what you're really doing, if you are hurting your sound or not. This is something that I will use more in the mixing stage. Let's say like if you want to make the sound better, but when I'm creating track I don't really care about, because if you tweak, if it sounds good, it sounds good. So I don't use it that much, gain compensation. It can be great for when you EQ, because sometimes you think you EQ in a good way but you're just hurting, or for compression, but all of this is more like mixing stage. And yeah, I do try to gain compensate manually, or there is a Max for Live device as well where you can do that automatically to really know that you are doing good to your sound and not just destroying it. Mitch who say, how did you start out and what would you advise new producer to make them progress faster? Like what should they do or focus on? Fast, if you want to learn fast, there is no really way, it's gonna take time anyway. I would recommend first to work out on music production, like make sure you manage to finish track, even if you're just using loop, it doesn't really matter, just this process of getting this confidence in finishing track. Then after I will probably focus more on sound design and trying to create your own sound, and then after I will probably focus on the mixing and mastering it doesn't really need, but yeah, that's what I would say. And then if you want to learn faster, the more time you spend doing it, the faster you will learn. There is no really secret then, just reading blogs, watching tutorial, but always experimenting when you read an article or watch a video. Don't just watch it, but try to appropriate it to yourself, or try to even make it better or make it your own way. Again, that's what's gonna make you improve fast. That type who said, what is your main motivation in making music? That one which is always be there when other motivation don't work. Oh, I don't know. I think I just fucking love it. There is no, I mean, I never get tired of making music. I've been doing it for 10 years now and still the same. I'm still super excited to start a new track. There is obviously days that it doesn't feel to make music, but it's okay, do another thing. Then the day after, it's fine. The motivation is back. Again, if you just enjoy what you're doing, if you doesn't put yourself like in the competition with other people, or say, okay, or put pressure on yourself like, oh, I need to finish track, or oh, I need to sound good, or oh, I need to be a good artist in 3 years. If you just like enjoy what you're doing, then the motivation will be always there, I guess. Just enjoy the process. Pablo who say, I have a couple of questions. So first one is, what makes you buy the rhythm? So I have a rhythm review coming in the beginning of April, I think, so I will answer that in this video. I'm not gonna spoil my own video. What is what you love the most of your microphone? I would probably say the fact that it's super versatile. Like you can really create different kind of sound, FM sound, more like analog sound, super saw. There is a sequencer and app as well, which straight away you can kind of create a small sequence as well. You can modulate that as well with the matrix. You have a cycling envelope as well, which kind of create weird tone with. And then how do you start it in music, in producing techno, and how long you been doing it? How did I start it? I don't know. I just like, I say, oh, I like this kind of music. I want to try to make it myself and just look for how to make that. And I've been doing that for more than 10 years. Martina who say, how you came up with the idea of starting YouTube channel? What was the most challenging and rewarding for you? That's a good question. So how did I start it? And why kind of question? I ended up being frustrated by plugins because I had too many and I didn't know how to use them. So one day I say, okay, scrap all of the third-party plugins. I'm just gonna focus on Ableton. And it's when I actually discovered that Ableton plugins are really powerful. And then so I start to use them and more, and I start to make racks until the day I made a rack that I really love it, which was the Rumble rack, which is actually the first video of the channel. And I said, damn, I need to share that with people. And I start to think, go back, okay, how I could share that. And YouTube channel, I came and I had this idea as well that I wanted to share the idea with people that they don't especially need to have a lot of third-party plugin, like the way that stock plugin are always considered like basic or like a shitty kind of stuff. And I kind of wanted to change that, to change people's mind, because this is kind of old beliefs and it's kind of things which are not true. So I wanted to just to say, okay, like, look, you can make great things as well with just by using stock plugin. And so I have this rack as well, and so I say, okay, Ableton Live, all you need is live. And then I start to do that, it works, and I keep going. And so yeah, then it's just continue. I just continue and I make more racks and make more video, and yeah. And so yeah, what's most challenging and rewarding? Challenging was first to grow, because obviously at the beginning you put a lot of work and you doesn't have that many views, and it's quite hard at the beginning, but then now it's gone because I have a good audience. And now I think the most challenging is always improving yourself, like making a better video after another, and that can be hard sometimes, because sometimes you make a video or sometimes when I do the template live, some of them I found them less good than the one before, so I'm like, okay, that's not really good. So this is quite challenging and rewarding. I think the most rewarding is all the comments that you guys said about like, oh, that's good, or how that helped me, or you improve my music production skills. This is like best reward. And again, like I said, how I try to always improve as well. When I listened my template 2 years ago and on my template now, I can see like improvement, so that's really rewarding as well. So yeah, it's a great journey that I really enjoy every day, and always trying to be better, improve my own skill, trying to improve your own skill, and like all together growing. I would say that's the most rewarding, which is kind of challenging as well. You just say, hi Paul, I hope you're well. I really thank you for all what you do, help me a lot. I would like to see in future more arrangement, tutorial, structure and automation, timing to use in like most use filter, reverb and less, micro tension, effects and watch and track, and also transition between them. Thanks. Alright, this is same that for mixing, arrangement is such a wide topic that you cannot just make one video about arrangement, because there is so many ways to do arrangement. Obviously there is, according to the style of techno, there is some tips or some some kind of pattern which repeats. The best way is usually when I explain my template, there is always two parts. One part I talk about the sound design, and one part I talk about all of the arrangement, the automation, the mixing. And that second part is the best way if you wanna learn about arrangement, because I always explain the main idea of the arrangement, the global idea. So just check all of the second part of all of this template. There is a playlist on my YouTube channel. Go to playlist and you go to artist label tutorial, and you will find out about that, like for each template, how did I come up with the arrangement. And yeah, unfortunately you cannot just answer that in one video. Nu say, do you have tips for getting nice industrial sense sound out of wavetable of operator? So industrial sound, usually FM, so with operator or with wavetable, you can change as well. You have wave shaping, wave folding as well, usually works well. You can do it with wavetable. Then yeah, it's a lot about experimenting and trying weird things. I would say I don't really have like especially tips. Maybe using, depends what you like as well and what you like in industrial. Maybe using noise can be nice. And then as far as always about the effect however you're gonna use. The frequency shifter, either in the ring modulation mode or the classic frequency shifter mode, can really get weird stuff. You can use distortion or saturation plugin, either the pedal or the amp, or you have other the Redux that can be nice to kind of bit crush and distort everything in a particular lo-fi way. So Planoclat who say, hey man, what's the fundamental MO of what you do here? Basically right now it's a mix of, obviously I make tutorial for the YouTube channel. I do a bit of gear review, but not that much. This is mainly like the gear I own and I like to make video about it. And I do as well music for myself, and I do as well a sample pack and preset bank. On top of that as well, I have as well the live stream where I create music live, and then after I create a template for me that I share for free with you for 1 week, and then after I put to sell on my website as well. So it's a kind of, I don't really have like a way to do things. I don't know, I just like things come one after the other and I just adapt. You know, like when I started the channel, I was just like doing racks and sharing them, and then after I started to do the live stream, so I started to do the template, and then after I started to decide to open a bit more with gear, you know, because I wanted the channel to evolve a little bit, so I started to make video about gear. Sometimes I do as well artist related video. This is more like when one day I wake up and I say, okay, I want to make a video about this artist, and I just do it. And yeah, now I'm just following this kind of things, like, and yeah, a bit of all of that. It's quite now a good balance for me, like between making tutorial, making video, making my own track, making sample pack, making sample bank. I have all of these things which are quite different and kind of always keep my job interesting. And yeah, that's the main idea, sharing tips, trying to make better music day after day. And yeah, this is to say more mixing tips video. Yeah, I talk about that. Mixing, again, like I said, for the arrangement, just go to watch the part 2 of where I explain the template, because it's usually where I give some tips, and obviously it's depend of the style of techno, but for me mixing is 95% depending of your music production, like which element you're gonna choose to put together, which sample, which sound. This is 95% of my mix, so I would just suggest to getting better at picking samples together. I know that this is just something you need experience. Is after a while you here start to get better to pick samples together, but mixing is so wide subject, and like I said, it's what's gonna be true for one track or for what's gonna be wrong for the next track. So next one, hi there, is there any chance that you can make a Burning Man style techno tutorial? Yeah, that's something I wanna do. It's on the plan. Again, I have so many things as well, video topic I wanna do, but obviously I don't have that much time, so it's on the waiting list. But to say, how do you approach more minimal type of style? How to balance it being trivial and uninteresting against too crowded, melodic, and not minimal anymore? Typically in other genres I layer element that you're happy, but this doesn't seem to work for minimal or ambient. Yeah, it's true that minimal kind of music is super hard, and again it's about picking the right sound and sample holes which go together. And usually I found that there is like sometimes just you will have like 3 or 4 elements, but they are so good and so good together that you can just listen to them for I don't know, like 10 or 20 minutes without getting bored. Here the best way is to be really hard with yourself when you add a new element, when you pick up sample, just making sure they are fitting well together. And if you have just the doubt that maybe this hat doesn't fit well with the kick, just then work on the new hat. Even if you have to work 2 hours on the hat, that's how it should be, because this music minimals, when it's very minimal music, you have just a few elements, so you cannot screw it. You like everything has to be so perfect together, and it's super hard. And obviously, making simple music but interesting, it's the harder thing. So again, it's all come down to picking the right sounds coming together well. The HST76, we say, how long does it take you to make a track? So from idea until final mix down. How long does it take you to design a sound until it's exactly the one you had in your mind? So for the sound design question first, this really depends what type of sound. Sometimes I want a sound for a track and I know more or less already how to do it, so it's pretty quick. Sometimes I don't really know, so I try to experiment, and this can take ages, can take a very long time. I'm someone who really likes sound design, so I don't mind to spend like 1 hour, 2 hours trying to design a sound and not making music. This is also because of the fact that as it is my main job, I can like literally just spend the day just making sound design and not making music. But obviously for someone who just have like 2 or 3 hours a day making music, obviously you maybe doesn't want to just spend these 2 or 3 hours just trying to create a sound, and you want to make music as well. So it's just you until the limit. Sometimes I have to compromise. I'm looking for a sound and I cannot find it, so I will compromise. Let's say after half an hour or 1 hour trying to look for it, I'll say, okay, I give up, and I stay to the closer I could get, and I just move on. So yeah, it's up to you until what limit of time you wanna spend on creating one song, and just move after to the next. And yeah, how long does it take you to make a track? It usually make 1 day, 2 days, maximum 2 days. Usually if it's taking more than 2 days, it's because I'm struggling to kind of finish it, and it's usually because the idea wasn't really that good in the first place. So yeah, 1-2 days. And then we have me. Any tips on how to pick the correct hats and choose them correctly? Not really, like just have to try on the whole track and see. Like I said, use Spectrum and try to tune them like this. Any tips for percussion and effects for techno when the song just needs a bit extra part of the track at the final stage? This really is depend the track, is depend the BPM, what mood your track is. I mean, that's pretty broad question. I don't have any answer. It really depends. Again, it's just about trying, experimenting, what's work, and you know, maybe you're gonna probably try a lot of things which doesn't work. Then the next time you know that they're not gonna work, so you're not gonna try them, and you're gonna try different, and slowly you're gonna get experience, and you're gonna know what to do and what not to do. But this is not something that can be teach by a video or someone telling you. It's you have to try what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and then it will like kind of narrow the possibility, and then you will get faster to pick up the right sound you think is good for your track. Tracks, I did diving in the kick layering and don't want to layer already completed kick from sample. Want to main structure from drum machine like 909 DRM1, then layer with real drum and some sound design sample like door slamming, etc. Will I be able to get that high level with it as in case of layering already cool sample? Want to understand all about that process? I don't know. Well, again, it depends. Layering is again something that you cannot really predict. It depends. You cannot really know in advance how two samples put together is gonna react, if they're gonna react well or no. And even sometimes they won't, but then you pitch them on a different way, and then poof, they match together perfectly. So again, it's all about experimenting, trying things. But either if you use already good quality sample to create a kick, or if you use like analog drum machine with door slamming together to create a kick, both way you can do crap or you can do good. It doesn't really matter which way you choose. Both them you're gonna do crap and good. Okay, and then Danny who say how and how much to give your track the low frequency stereo signal commercially song have. Well, I don't really recommend to make you low frequency stereo. Like everything under 120 Hz should be mono. Then after, sometimes it's true like you have some tracks where you have like this kind of, you got the impression that the bass is kind of stereo, which is like usually around, let's say like from 100 to 200 or maybe 300. You can put that in stereo if you want. I think again it depends what kind of music you make, because if you make a music like, you know, that people are gonna listen more often in the club than or on speaker than on headphone, like then the stereo bass doesn't really matter, you know, because people listen on speaker, and the bass in stereo on speaker doesn't matter. It's only matter when you listen on the headphone. So if you think most of your audience will listen on headphones, just do it maybe stereo, but I wouldn't bother much to do it based on stereo, because like I said, most people will probably listen it not with headphones. So right, I have another question from Cosa Ferdinando. What do you do for a living? What is your music journey? I do just that now for living, YouTube and my sample. So obviously I can make it happen because you guys support me by buying my sample, template and preset bank. So that's what I do for a living. And the music journey I already explained. Thomas who say, how many hours per day, week do you work on your own music aside from the audio react and ordinary live stuff? Do you do YouTube and audio react full time, or do you have a regular job? How long have you been producing for? So working on my own music, this is something that really kind of, it's been like lately, like there is a change. So because obviously the channel and audio react take me a lot of time now, usually for my own music, I'm really waiting for this spike of inspiration. So that I mean, like one day I will wake up and say, oh my god, today I need to make a track for me. And so I will just spend one day or two track just making track for me, and sometimes it can even last a week. So that's why I usually have a little bit of work ahead on my channel and sample. So this way, like when this happen, I can, like for example, it can happen like 1 week I'm not gonna work on the YouTube channel or on the audio react and just focus on my own music, and I'm just waiting for this inspiration moment to come, and I'm just jump on it and making track when I have that. So this obviously is something very personal because it's my way of working in a day-to-day basis, and how I adapt that to is how I adapt my way to make my own music to my YouTube channel and sample company. So I cannot really tell you how many days per week, because it's like I said, some weeks or maybe 1 month I'm not gonna do even music for me, but then the month after I will probably make 3 or 4 tracks, just spend a week. It really depends. And the thing is, it's quite complicated because sometimes I'm gonna work on some design or on some kick, and which is like kind of preparation for my own track. And so this is stuff that I will be working when I'm working on my channel or on audio react, but then that I will use it later on when I have this spike of inspiration. I'm gonna use this stuff that I was working on during the rest of the time. And do you do YouTube or audio react full job? Yes, I already just answered that. How long have you been producing for? 10 years. Alright guys, that was it for all the questions. If you are interested in this kind of video, just let me know in the comment. I can make another one, even doesn't need to wait for another milestone. I can do that anytime. Thank you for watching. Thanks again for all of your support, because without you this wouldn't be possible. And see you soon guys. Bye bye.